Hello, thank you for joining us for the Scholarship Reporting Portal Enhancement Training. My name is Rebecca and I work with the Quality for Scholarships team here at Valley of the Sun United Way. And we've created some enhancements to hopefully help your reporting experience for the scholarship program and wanted to give you an overview of those changes. So we have a few that we'll go over, and we're going to start with our first reporting enhancement, which has to do with the save feature when you are submitting a new report. So our previous save feature, you had to enter a placeholder into every field before you could actually save your report. And we got a lot of feedback from providers about that function not working how a save feature actually should. And so we agreed and made some changes. That way you can save your report without having to put a placeholder in every field. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter some information here just to put some info in here, and then we'll show you how that save feature is going to work. So I'm just going to add some info here, and then you can see we have the children listed here, so we will press save. And as you can see, there is a pop-up message that came up that says you must come back and submit before the reporting period ends or your payment will be affected. So if you save your report, you just need to make sure that in order for reimbursement, you come back in and submit it within the first 7 days to make sure your payment is deposited on time. But you can see here we have a red warning message that has popped up. And it's letting us know that certain required fields were left blank and we need to review all of our input before submitting the report. So the reason that warning message popped up is because we didn't finish entering any rate for billable days, days attended, number of hours, anything like that. So it's just letting us know that it's been saved, but there's missing information. So in order to go back in and get that finished, you just need to make sure you enter that. So that's why that popped up. And you can see here now we have a report in progress for November that's here in this purple pinkish color. So it's shown as in progress. So we can click back on this to go back in and make sure that we edit our report so that we can make sure it's submitted correctly. All right, so we'll go ahead and enter some other information here so we can show you what it looks like. And also, we're going to show you there's another issue. So make sure when you're entering in the information, you're entering the right type of character in the correct field. So for the number of hours, it's only going to allow you to submit a numerical character in that field. Let's say you accidentally type the letter O instead of the number 0. And we'll see, and we'll let you know kind of how that works with our error. So it's not going to allow you to submit it there, so we're going to save again. And you're going to see this message pop up every time you save. So you'll just press OK. And you can see here, though, we have another warning that says certain entries were unable to be saved due to invalid input. So it's letting you know that there was the wrong type of character in a field, so you need to go back into your report and double check that. And so any invalid characters will not be saved. So once you go back into the report to fix that mistake, if you look over here, that letter O did not save. So you'll just have to go back in and make sure you put the correct character there. So we'll go ahead and fix that. And then save it again so you can see what it looks like when it's saved correctly. Green report has been saved. So in order to submit, you have to press the green next button, and then it's going to ask you to please review all of your information on your report carefully. Just check names, date of birth, everything that you have on file for your child. It would no longer be shown as a report in progress on that reporting tab. But we're not going to submit it just yet because we do want to go over some of the other enhancements. So those are the save features, and so hopefully that will help you with your reporting. In case you have to stop in the middle of a report, you can save it. And now we also have some other features that we'd like to go over. Time of care. It's old existing time of care field but was renamed, and this field right here is what is going to determine payment for your child. So you can see here we have a none option, which is 0 if you don't want payment for them, part-time, which is a half payment, and a full-time. And then we have a new field, which is called the scheduled time of care. So this is the time of care that will let you know exactly what the child is scheduled to attend. So there may be a full-time student on your roster, but they've only been awarded a part-time scholarship. So that's where you can adjust these. So we'll kind of go through some more scenarios to show you how to use these two fields. And first, what we want to show you is that a child cannot be paid over what they are scheduled. So a part-time scheduled means they can only get a part-time payment or no payment. So as you can see here, I'll show you what I mean. Let's say you have a scheduled time of care for part-time. They can't get a full-time payment, so if you try submitting a report with that information like that, you're going to get an error. So it's letting you know here in this error, time of care for payment cannot be greater than the scheduled time of care and then the child's name. So you would just need to make sure that it wouldn't be greater than the time of care for payment is not greater than the scheduled time of care. So you would just need to fix that. And then now we also wanted to let you know that along with the time of care for payment and scheduled time of care, you can now select a 0 for the number of scheduled days. And where this comes into factor is when you have a child that has vacated in a previous month and you don't want to bill for them. So how you would do that is you would go ahead and enter the current month's vacate date for the first of the month and a normal vacate reason, whatever vacate reason applies to that child. And then what you would do is go ahead and in the time of care for payment, you would select none. And then for the scheduled time of care, you can also select none. So that way we know that the child was not scheduled to attend in that month and that you are not wanting to receive a payment for them by entering in this information. And then you would do a 0 number of scheduled days, 0 number of days attended, and a 0 for the number of hours. And also you can zero out the rate for billable days here and the copay. So you can see everything's zeroed out except the family size and the family's gross annual income. So that's what you would do in a case where a child vacated in a previous month. And so now we're going to go over how you would report a held slot that you are not wanting to bill for. So if your policy is not to charge for vacation time or maybe a leave of absence or any kind of family matters, we would ask that you include a detailed note in your report up here, but then also fill out the report as I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to get rid of this vacate date. So let's say a child went on vacation, but your site does not charge for absences. So let's say they were gone for 5 days. And so what you would want to do then is go ahead and leave the time of care for payment as none. And then depending on if they're not going to be there for the whole month, you would say their scheduled time of care is none as well. So then you would not receive payment for them. Or if they're on a medical leave and you're not charging the family, let's say there was an illness and they're out for an extended period of time and you're not charging them but holding that slot for them, this is how you would fill it out. So you would just put none for the time of care, none for the time of care for payment, none for the scheduled time of care, and then zero everything else out. And now let's say that you want to report a slot that you are billing for. So if it's your policy to be able to charge for absences, then this is how you would fill out the report for that child. So if they were scheduled to be there the entire month and you charge for absences, let's say that they are a full-time student and they have a full-time scholarship, you would go ahead and put in the appropriate time of care and the appropriate payment time of care as well. So let's say they're full-time and they should have attended 21 days for that month, but there were 0 days attended. So you can see here that we have 21 days scheduled, 0 days attended, and 0 number of hours attended. And then you would put your normal rate for billable days in there that you would charge for the child. And so you would receive a payment by entering it like this, and that way we know, okay, there were 0 days attended, but you still will be charging the family and would like to receive reimbursement. And in this kind of scenario, just make sure you're entering a detailed note about the situation, and that'll help avoid a customer service call from our Quality First accounting coordinators. And that way we're just in the loop and kind of know what's going on with that child and why they have 0 days attended. All right, and next we're going to show you how to bill for a child who attends your site full-time but was only awarded a part-time scholarship. So what we would do is we would have the scheduled time of care be full-time because they are scheduled to attend full-time, but since they're only receiving a part-time scholarship, what you would want to do is just change the time of care for payment to part-time. So you can see there they're only going to get a 0.5 reimbursement. And then you would just enter their normal attendance as is. And so that's how you would bill a child that is on a part-time scholarship but attends full-time. And also, so if all of your scholarships are filled and you vacate a child and enroll another child in the same month, you would need to bill both of those children with a part-time time of care for payment. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's say we have our first child here, Celia, vacating on the 14th. So she's going to vacate, and then we're going to have another child take her spot. All right, so we'll just enter in some information here. And let's say this child is going to enroll the following Monday. So you can see there's no overlap in enrollment. And then here, this site only has two, but in order to make sure that there is no overpayment, you would need to bill the child that's vacating and the child that is enrolling to take their spot as part-time. So you could see when you add up these numbers here in the parentheses, it equals 2. So that's kind of a rule of thumb when you're going through these if you want to make sure that you're not overbilling. If you add up the time of care for payment numbers here in parentheses, it should not exceed the total number of scholarships that have been awarded to you. So that's how you would enter the time of care for payment for those children when you have a full roster but are replacing a child that has vacated in the previous month. And then you would go ahead and fill out. And so that is a quick overview of how our new enhancements are going to be working. If you have any further questions about the new enhancements, you can definitely give us a call at 602-240-6325 on our provider helpline, or you can also reach us at regionalscholarships@vsuw.org, and we'll be more than happy to help you. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.